Good morning, Blue Jays. At the end of basketball season, my sophomore year at Jesuit, the track coach asked me to come out and run the 400-meter dash. The track season was already well underway, so I only had 1 week to practice before my first race. The training regimen had me running 300-meter increments one day to work on speed, and 500-meter increments on another day to work on endurance. So at my first race, I had never actually run the 400-meter distance. But my coach, Scott Thompson, told me that it was a man's race, that I should sprint out of the blocks, stride in the second quarter of the race, gradually build up speed in the third portion, and then sprint the final 100 meters. That seemed very reasonable to me. However, I did not know what the word stride meant. So I basically, in the second quarter of the race, was in an all-out sprint. But just in my head, my strides, each stride was just a little bit longer than the one before. So I ended up sprinting the whole race, and I was way ahead coming into the final stretch. Jesuit fans were unaccustomed to having wild success in the sprinting events. And so the entirety of Tad Gormley Stadium was going absolutely wild. But my legs were failing. It was like those bad dreams where you're running away from the bad guy and you know you can run faster than you're running, but your legs just won't do it. My legs got so tight that on one stride, I was striving to kick forward and my spike hit the track and I went down. And I will never forget the change in emotion in the crowd. Going absolutely wild, and then all of a sudden, ooh. 400 people together said, ooh. Like a combination of being embarrassed for me and genuinely concerned. Because when I went down, my chest was heaving so radically as I tried to catch my breath. And other runners were jumping over me to finish the race. I was in too much physical pain even to be embarrassed as I was carried off the track. And all of this was because I didn't know how to shift to a stride in the second quarter. I ran the whole race at the same pace. When I spoke to you at the beginning of the first quarter, I urged you not to see your vocation as a man of faith and a man for others as a distant prospect. I urged you, like the prophet Jeremiah, never to let the phrase, "I am too young," hold you back from being relentless in your pursuit of God's greater glory by the testimony of your life and actions. Never be paralyzed by thinking that you are not ready or not old enough. Your youth is an asset. Do not let it be a liability. Now that we're in the second quarter, I'd like to focus on one particular liability of youth. In your youth, it is easy to lack perspective. You've had a limited numbers of years come and go, and so sometimes all the days seem the same to you. This first day of the second quarter may look like the third Tuesday of the first quarter. It's just another day. But this is not the case. There are seasons to every school year, like there are seasons to life. The beginning of the second quarter is the right time to renegotiate the commitments you made to yourself in August. Getting your report card tomorrow is a comprehensive assessment of the work that you've done for the last 9 weeks. You know what got in your way in the first quarter. It's not rocket science. If you didn't do your physical science homework, name it and buckle down this quarter. If you find yourself as a frequent flyer in PH, maybe hair is your issue, or having your phone on your person, guess what? Those are decisions that you are making. Be aware that the learning environment in every classroom that you enter today is your responsibility. You make the culture in your classroom by how you engage. Do not be passive. This is a new quarter, a fresh start, with plenty of time to get it right this year. In your spiritual life, don't say that you are too young to have an intimate relationship with the Lord. Take your decisions to the Lord in prayer. and do what he tells you. Daily prayer, frequent confession, going to Mass on Sunday. Hit your stride and take ownership of the man that you want to be before the Lord. What an awesome quarter to make some firm commitments. We have the Thanksgiving drive, where you can exercise your compassion for others by being the first to volunteer for the activities in your homeroom. God willing, we will celebrate Mass for the Solemnity of the Immaculate Conception back in our newly renovated chapel in December. What kind of man will you be when you enter that chapel? That is the second quarter's work for you. There is a fire within you that makes you aspire to do great things for the Lord. That fire inspires you to virtue, and even heroic virtue. Deep down, you want to be relied upon by your friends and family. You may be tempted to say, I'm too young for all that. Do not say I'm too young. You may say I'm too young to take life seriously, to earnestly try, to be a man who loves others with conviction, to be who I truly am, to be the man God made me to be. This is the promise of the second quarter. It is my prayer for you that you hit your stride as you round the turn. This concludes this morning's assembly.